The Turkish president, Recep Erdogan, refused today to rule out executing the ringleaders of last week's failed coup. More than 7,500 people have been arrested by the Erdogan government since Friday. Authorities have also fired nearly 9,000 policemen and bureaucrats attached to the Interior Ministry. Well, joining us now, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, American Enterprise Institute Senior Fellow John Bolton, also Fox News contributor, and former Pentagon official, Fox News National Security Analyst KT McFarland. Let's start with Erdogan. I cannot imagine the coup that was resolved so quickly. There are suggestions that he himself organized that coup. Is that just too much in the way of a conspiracy theory?
I think that's a bridge too far. But what he will do is take full advantage of this opportunity. Don't let a crisis go to waste. And he will now consolidate his power, having already gone after the judicial branch, having gone after Parliament, having gone after the military. He's now going to go execute everybody and clean slate, and then he will be the new czar of Turkey.
Well, I think he's been trying to reverse 100 years of the Turkish effort to be a Western-oriented secular state. I think this removes the last obstacle. This is a purge that obviously goes well beyond the coup plotters. If there were this many people plotting the coup, it would have succeeded. So I think there's nothing now to check Erdogan's authoritarian ambition. I think the real issue for the United States is, does he press for advantages against us with Incirlik Air Base? News reports are his first post-coup meeting will be with Vladimir Putin. That has to be bad news.
And no one should forget that he has not in any way been hesitant to defy U.S. requests and calls for assistance and cooperation.
Well, he was in 2003 the leader of the Justice and Development Party. Before he became prime minister, who I have always believed stopped the Turkish parliament from granting the United States authority to put an infantry division into northern Iraq as part of our overthrow of Saddam Hussein. That was the
2003.
Yeah. But he is also, as mayor of Istanbul once said, democracy is like a streetcar. You ride it to the stop you want, and then you get off. I think he found his stop.
You agree? Absolutely.
And the problem for us is he's a NATO ally. And what happens to NATO now when you have very different persons in charge, who is now best friending, BFF Vladimir Putin?
Well, the European Union, reluctant to get any closer to him and his government. NATO, his cooperation has been limited at best, and the fact is he's been flirting with radical Islamists for years now, and getting ever closer. Now to the point that many consider the Erdogan government to be the last stage before an Islamist government.
Look, I think he is an Islamist. I think he's got now what he wants, and I think he is one of those who has been reluctant to admit it publicly. He laments the loss of the caliphate when the Ottoman Empire disappeared. So now, again, he has the opportunity. He can kiss any chances of joining the European Union goodbye after this as well. The question is NATO.
Perhaps a kiss is in order, though, for Mr. Obama, who urged the world to support his quote-unquote democratically elected government.
As did Secretary Clinton. I mean, she put a lot.
And Secretary Kerry.
They absolutely looked at Erdogan as the linchpin of their policy in the Middle East and in Europe, that he was going to be the bridge and it was going to be happy days again, kumbaya, we're all going to live in peace and harmony, and that hasn't worked out very well.
This collapses Chancellor Merkel's deal, by the way, on the Syrian refugee question, that Erdogan was supposed to inhibit their transit across Turkish territory. He was, in fact, facilitating it, and now whether he will take any
for money, we should point out.
Right.
For money.
For good money. Whether he will take any of those refugees back, or now whether they are permanent residents of the continent of Europe.
As I look at the situation in Turkey, the Middle East, Europe, particularly southern Europe, but Europe, I wonder how even the president can delude himself that this is a policy formulated in any context, in any way, to represent the interest of the United States.
It should be a wake-up call looking at what's happened to Europe. Open borders, multiculturalism, cut back on defense, and our law enforcement and intelligence. And what do you have? You have the French chief of intelligence saying we're preparing for a potential civil war in France. That should be a wake-up call for us, because the Obama-Clinton thing is open borders, multiculturalism, gut the military.
We have in this country, a deep divide that is getting deeper by the day, and that is the divide between those who, like the president, want to campaign against, wage a campaign against law enforcement officers in this country. What he has said is, to me, unfathomable and repugnant, and yet I'm not hearing a lot from our national liberal media in defending those who defend us. And I don't know where this is going to lead, John, do you?
No, I think it's potentially going to lead to chaos in this country. I think that the way the president has approached this from the beginning of his administration, from the famous beer summit when he called the Cambridge, Massachusetts Police Department stupid, it's almost as if he intended this consequence. And I think we are in real danger. I just hope it doesn't break out here first in Cleveland.
It's the bottom line is, if you wear the uniform, whatever that uniform is, you're not having a friend in Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton.
And they are, at this point, one ebbing into irrelevance and the other in the fight of her political life.